Hello and welcome to Hello Nigeria. My name is Oliver Modi. As always, I'm delighted to be here, not just because the team is complete, but because finally I can showcase my natural hair on TV. Well, today is a flashback. We'll be playing a flashback interview with Bolatito Bears Idakula, who's a woman that went through so much pain, but she was able to transfer this pain into her purpose and something that would have been a mess into a message. We'll be bringing you the details of this interview, hoping that it will inspire faith, love, and hope in your heart. Thank you for watching.
And you are very welcome. I'm excited about Bolatito's story because indeed it's very inspiring. And we do hope that you will pay close attention to everything she's saying because you or someone that you know might just be able to pick up one or two things from that. Well, today in other news, we're looking at some trending stories and we hear that 6 bags of signatures were submitted to INEC to recall Dino Melaye by his constituents. We're looking at this and other stories during trending stories. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Aya Thompson.
The Ekiti State Governor, Peter Dele Fayose, is one who's not very shy from controversy. He has accused the Buhari administration of nepotism while holding his victory rally. And he said something quite interesting. He said he's going to be the next president of Nigeria in 2019. Will that be possible or not? Join us for more details during Trending Stories. I'm Benga Aboroa. Hello, Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, the show commences in full swing. Do stay with us.
Etisent Nigeria. That means hello Nigeria in Tree.
Hi, my name's Amanda Potelwa. I'm from South Africa.
Hello, my name is Mimi Akinkube.
Hello, my name is Candace Nkotgisek. I'm from Cameroon.
My name is Idorin Anang.
My name is Efwa Osei.
And the most interesting thing I found about Nigeria is the extraordinary hustling energy.
And make sure you keep watching
Hello Nigeria.
We do it all for you. We do it all for you. Oh.
Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. I'm excited because my team is complete.
Woo!
And I have my natural hair.
Woo! Wonderful.
Yeah.
Give the Lord an awilo.
This is terrible. This is not me. This is not my real person.
We have to give praise to God because without God, we cannot be here.
Yes,
Right.
you have to give praise. And it's not easy. You know, I'm very thankful for my hair. I had to cut it. Now, for those of you who are at home, maybe we should actually one day have a Woman Wednesday talking about how to care for natural hair. Because realize that women put a lot of wigs.
We should actually. Atilola, we could invite Atilola.
No, on Wednesday. That's what I'm saying. One of our Woman Wednesdays. We should bring in.
Atilola should
Exactly,
come,
because we
she's very
have
good at that.
not even just like natural hair, natural relaxed hair.
She studied
trichology.
Yeah, she's a trichologist.
Okay.
Why do you guys make so much big deal about your hair?
Because
natural
we
hair,
are
natural
not
hair?
a
I've been carrying my
hair.
natural hair for the past 30 years.
Who cares?
And it's not a big
You're a
deal.
man.
Come on.
Besides,
And
Who
you're older
told
than
you?
30.
Some men rely. Have you noticed Pete Darlington's hair?
and Bobrisky.
And Bobrisky.
And
Bobrisky
Derele.
Bobrisky fixes his hair, you know.
Even Valentine puts a little bit of
But the thing is,
relaxer.
a lot of them, when they take out their artificial hair, they can't carry their natural hair like, you know? So it's important. Women out there, I urge you, even women on this set, I urge you to look after your natural hair.
I look
women
after
on
my
this
natural
set
hair.
and the women out there, do not fix artificial hair. Only damage your hair. Only damage your hair. What's going on this morning?
But you're using, what's it called, texturizer. It's not natural, so you're also damaging your scalp.
I'm not damaging my scalp because
That's
I
what
don't
you
apply.
Do you know the ingredients that have been that were used?
Do you know the treatment I had to do? I did aromatherapy
did your
treatment in my hair last
We
week.
will not hear the last of this.
No, you all
because
are not going to
Olive
hear
has
the
done
end of
Did your
this.
great-grandmother relax her hair?
Exactly.
My great-grandmother.
So let's move on with the show, please. Enough about the Olive Hair's show.
Yes.
Let's
Thank
go to
you.
Hello Nigeria.
Jealous.
Hello Nigeria, we're still here and it is definitely Oliver Modig Benga Bora and Aya Thompson with her hair that she's very proud of, by the way.
Yes, thank you. You can go on Twitter. Tweet it to me at Oliver Modi to tell me you really like it. It will mean so much to me. But for now, we have a video. Take a look at this video. When we come back, we're talking some more about it here on Hello Nigeria.
2 years ago, this primary school in northeast Nigeria closed. Boko Haram attacks in the local area made it too dangerous for children to go to school. Now security's returned. Families are coming back, needing places to live. This school has become an IDP camp for people with nowhere else to go. 13-year-old Modu Umar and his family fled to the state capital when the fighting got bad. He briefly attended school there before the conflict closed that one too. Modu's now back home, and although the majority of the town's schools are still shut, he's finally able to access a safe place to learn. With the support of UNICEF, 4 classrooms in this school have reopened. Modu's one of nearly 90,000 children across northeast Nigeria that UNICEF helped back into education.
If I come big boy, if I finish the school, my best subject, English and Maths. If I go doctor, English and Maths, we want to help me.
This is actually some people's reality.
Yeah, it is.
And it's quite sad that all we do is pay lip service to education in Nigeria. It's UNICEF recommends 16% of your annual budget. We're still doing single digits for the past 4 years. So, and then looking at what happened in the Northeast, we need a serious Marshall Plan and a state of emergency to fix things. I mean, what they went through it's a total war zone, and it takes a lot of efforts in rebuilding. And when you hear stories that food that's meant for IDPs have been diverted, contracts given and not
or cases
out.
of sexual abuse when in the internally displaced persons.
It's very heartbreaking.
Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, 10.5 million. That's it.
And I think the numbers will certainly have increased, Benga, because this census was released a few years back, and we're still using the same numbers. And unfortunately, I don't think the situation has improved. I believe that, if anything, it's gone worse. Only last night, Olive,
I was even thinking about that.
We're going somewhere very late at night, about 11, past to 12, actually, a few minutes to 12 midnight. And we saw some young boys on the streets begging, coming to the windows and cleaning the windows. Squeegee boys at that time. And I'm talking about 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. They were not even teenagers.
The thing is, they were even so small that their hands could not get to the
top of the
you know, it's one thing and we don't have a social welfare and social services is not adequate. We do not take care of our own. That's the way you judge a country's progress, not by skyscrapers or the number of G-Wagons you find on the streets.
Exactly.
It's how you take care of the needy, the vulnerable in society. No food stamps, no unemployment benefits, nothing.
No benefits
and
at all.
Beyond the kids going to school, there's a clear and present danger. You have ritualists on the prowl, you have pedophiles, you have all sorts of things.
Anything can happen.
And another thing is that we know it is, again, in Lagos State at least, it's been passed into law that it's a criminal offense for your child not to be in school under a certain age. What are the policemen?
Is free.
Yes, what are the policemen doing?
Enforcement.
And child labor is also illegal. So what are the policemen doing, the enforcers of the law doing on the streets? Because we know we have policemen patrolling the streets at night. When they see these young children, what are they doing leaving the children?
They're actually patronizing them. Do you have pure water? Give me one.
They
Let me buy.
blind eye.
Exactly. So we should, I mean, the law is there for us. So who are the enforcers and why are these children on the streets?
And beyond that, we also need to look further into the bringing of these children into the world. I would say that we need to clamp down, like we need to spread the word when it comes to family planning and all that. We know that, yes, there's some religious issues. We were talking about it the other day and how certain religions do not believe in family planning. But the truth is, I think it's quite irresponsible of you as a parent to bring a child into the world that you're not capable of looking after. I saw a video on YouTube, a documentary in one of, I think it's in Makoko. So the lady had 5 children. And they were asking, she couldn't even express herself in English. And they were asking her, Madam, how did you have all these children? She was like, our children are a gift from God.
I was going to say that you can't blame them, Olive. Like you mentioned, they're ignorant, and it's this is their reality.
Yeah, but the government has a responsibility
to educate them. Yes, sensitization, awareness. They need to go to the grassroots level to make them aware. It's unfortunate that it's people who can actually afford to have many children who cut down on the number of children that they will have. So for them, recreation is not there. And let's be honest, that's almost their only form of recreation for these people. There's no life, there's no work. So all they're doing is
they use these children to generate money for...
I mean, Nigerians pay taxes. When we say things like free education, make it free quality education and incentives that, look, the government has the power to take care of only 2 or 3 kids. So if you're going to have more kids, they won't enjoy these benefits from the government and healthcare facilities and a lot of things. And you see that people would start putting efforts towards family planning.
Exactly.
Very true. And it's not enough to keep talking about these things, but we want to see steps being taken. We want to see that the government is making moves, and individuals as well. We don't need to wait for the government. You can actually educate somebody. If you stay in a rural area and you're fortunate to know about these things, once in a while, go out, speak to these people, talk to them. As much as we can, we will keep talking here so that the message will get out there. And we hope that one day we would actually live in a world or in a country, in Nigeria, where kids will not be roaming the street. Kids will be in school where they are meant to be. And those who are not in school, if we ever get to a point where education is like, oh, you either go to school or you go learn a trade, fine, you learn a trade, so long as you're not roaming the streets of Nigeria or streets of Lagos State. And our parents would even be very, very disciplined when it comes to bringing more children into the world. In fact, that's another topic we'll talk about on another day. We're going to break now. When we return, Benga and Ayo will be taking you on trending stories.
Hello, Nigeria. There's no better place to be, so don't you ever change that dial. What's up, everybody? It's Kabam Zasukwa, and you're watching Hello, Nigeria.
You're welcome back to Hello Nigeria. It's time for us to look at top trending stories from across the country. We'll start from a governor who's not shy of controversy. Yes, Mr. Ayodele Peter Fayose is talking tough. He held a victory rally in Ekiti State as residents of Ekiti State trooped out in large numbers yesterday in Ado-Ekiti to join the Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose in celebrating 3 years of his victory in the June 21st, 2014 governorship elections. Fayose defeated Dr. Kayode Fayemi in all 11 local government areas in the election. At the rally, the governor took a swipe at President Muhammadu Buhari, accusing him of a government of nepotism.
Yes, now he said a government in nepotism can't stand the test of time. The economy of this country has shrunk under this government. I say they will go, they must go. Nigerians are hungry and angry. I want to pick out that statement with regards to Nigerians are hungry and angry. Let's not forget, he got almost one of the promises on which he got, on board as governor is for stomach infrastructure. Yeah. And he has used that again and again. Now, it will be important to see the extent of Governor Ayodele Fayose's success in power. How happy are the Ekiti people with his governance? How improved has Ekiti been 3 years? We should not be celebrating the victory that I've gotten. We should be celebrating the fact that since the last time, let us see what you have achieved. Exactly. 3 years is a long time for us to see what you have done. If it is not worth celebrating, then it's a shame and an indictment of the people for coming out to hold a rally. What has the governor done? If he has done well, kudos to him.
But beyond that, let's look at that. Let's try and excuse the messenger from the message.
Yeah.
If you look at it, he's right. Nigerians are angry, and a lot of Nigerians are hungry because things haven't really improved since the president took over 2 years ago. Unemployment level is on the increase, inflation is on the increase, and all of that. But if he's going to point fingers, he should also look inwards, because his primary responsibility is not spokesperson, is not National Publicity Secretary for the PDP. He seems to be more concerned with what's happening at the federal level and being a relentless critic of the central government than doing something about the plight of the people of Ekiti State, his primary responsibility.
Indeed, there's nothing wrong with being a critic. He is in the opposition, and that is the job of the opposition, to hold the government in power to account. However, like you rightly said, it's not a them against us situation. He is actually part of the them, in quotes. It would be good to see, that's why I said, how much better or how much more improved are the lives of Ekiti people for him to come out and speak. Like, if you're going to throw stones, ensure that your house is in order. So if his state is not good or running well, if they are still owing workers' salary, if the roads are still bad, he has no right to come out and be chastising the government.
Okay, let's take a look at this statement. He says, I will take power from Buhari in 2019 and this shall come to pass. I mean, that's very prophetic. What do you think his chances are of being the next president of Nigeria?
I think I borrow your statement there too.
Yes, if he's going to be president, he says, I will take power from Buhari in 2019.
I don't think he has what it takes to be powerful, to take power, sorry. Because if he becomes president, unfortunately, he will continue, he will just keep, I believe he's akin to Senator Dino Melaye. He will just keep, he will spend a lot of time, you know, tormenting or taunting, actually, his detractors.
Yeah.
And the people that opposed him.
Rather than focus on the job at hand.
Exactly.
So. Okay, talking about Senator Dino Melaye, I mean, it might be the first time in the history of this democracy where a senator, a serving senator, would have to, would be recalled from his constituents if this goes through. Dino Melaye, the senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, has received signatures from electorates in his constituency. 6 bags which contained, and when you say 6 bags, I can imagine the Ghana Must Go bags, which contained the signatures of 52.3% of the electorate from the senatorial district, and all the petitions were submitted to INEC on Abuja yesterday. Kogi West, which Melaye represents in the Senate, has 7 local governments. Signatures and petitions from each of the local governments were packaged in each of the bags, which were tagged according to the names of the local governments.
All right, now a prominent member of the APC, Mr. Cornelius Olowu, had this to say on the reasons why they were recalling Senator Dino Melaye. We want Senator Melaye back because of poor representation. He's not accessible to us, he's unreachable, and has no constituency projects. Apart from the fact that he has never called any town hall meeting, there has been a major gap between the senator and the people he claims to represent. Now, these are heavy accusations, Benga, because whether I like it or not, it's almost like having a mid-year review or a review with your organization.
Exactly. And
they fail you in terms of your assessment.
And I think every Nigerian should, if you ask who's your representative at the House of Representatives, who is your senator representing your constituency, they should know this. These are the yardsticks. These are key performance indices to look at. Do you have constituency projects? Are you accessible?
When last did you visit your constituency?
When last did you visit your constituency? I saw him at the Intercontinental the other day.
Oh, is that his constituency?
If that was his
or
constituency.
Or maybe his constituency is actually on Bodylawn Road.
Yes, because he was snapping. Yeah. He was busy taking pictures there. But, I mean, this is not a laughing matter. Yeah. When you're elected, when you're an elected representative of the people, it's a matter of life and death. Their primary health centers, their projects that are calling for attention in Kogi West Senatorial District. But the senators appears to be AWOL and to be... but let's see how this pans out. This is democracy at work.
Yes, and just to let people know that the Constitution, Section 69, actually provides for this. Now, it states in Section 1, a member of the Senate or the House of Representatives may be recalled if A, there is presented to the chairman of the INEC a petition in that behalf signed by more than 1/2 of the persons registered to vote in that member's constituency, alleging their loss of confidence in that member, which has happened, and B, the petition is thereafter in a referendum conducted by the INEC within 90 days of the date of the receipt of the petition, approved by a simple majority of the votes of the persons registered to vote in their member's constituency. I think it's important for Nigerians to know about this because, Benga, I do believe and hope that this will put our representatives on their toes so that they will not take their voters or their electorates for granted when it comes to their performance.
Yeah, but Senator Deno has denied this. And, you know, when you make an accusation, rather than address the issue, we go around chasing shadows. He said the Kogi State governor is responsible for his travels, Governor Yaya Bello. And he's also said that many appointees of the Kogi State government, he called it a hoax, and he said they will go to jail for forgery. I mean, why not address these issues? What are your constituency projects? What are your achievements in the past 2 years?
When last did you visit your constituency?
When last did you visit? And all of that. We don't want to know who's behind it. All the reality on ground is that
are you guilty,
INEC, are you guilty or not? And INEC in 89 days' time would hold a referendum, a poll to we'll know whether it will be recalled or not.
All right, our final stop for this afternoon is with our governors who said that they are resolved not to allow Nigeria to break. Now, state governors yesterday said they had resolved that they would not allow Nigeria to break up, stating that those fanning the embers of war were wasting their time. The governor spoke after the meeting with acting President Yemi Osinbajo at the presidential villa in Abuja in continuation of Osinbajo's consultations on the recent tension in the country as a result of several agitations.
And I must commend the governors and, of course, the federal government for being very proactive in this. I mean, we're learning global best practices in governance from places like the United Kingdom. You hear that, oh, there was a knife attack at the on London Bridge today. The Prime Minister is right there. The next day, in less than 24 hours, a statement is released. What we used to do in the past was just release statements condemning this and that, you know, just copy and paste, edit, and all of that. But the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, because you know how volatile this can be. We've had incidences of ethnic and religious clashes in the past. He physically went to visit leaders of this of the north, leaders of the south, of the east too, and of course Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State has been very proactive in talking to community leaders and fostering peace. That look, we are better off as one, and dousing any flames that might erupt. Like you said, Benga, this must be commended. At the end of the day, we must take a community approach to these agitations, because it's not what you say whilst you're sitting in your plush office in Aso Rock that's going to work. It's you actually going to the grassroots, going to the people, meeting with heads of communities, not even people, not even governors. And yeah, governors have a role to play, but you need to go to the very bottom and go to the grassroots, because they're the ones who are being used as machineries to, you know, I mean, beyond all those meetings that would probably gloss over the issue and say, okay, fine, we've agreed that we're one indivisible state, but there are undertones that led to this agitation in the first place. Are we going to have a dialogue and sit down and address this inequalities or some of those grievances? Or we're just going to say, okay, there's no ultimatum anymore, you could go about your business as usual? We need to talk, we need to restructure, we need to get back to that original federating units, a true federalism, the type we practiced in the First Republic, where different units operated as independent units as part of the whole federation. We need to have that dialogue, because a lot of people feel shortchanged, and if you don't talk, they become restless, and it leaves room for agitations for secession and all of that. Well, Benga, again, we'll go back to what we've been talking about with regards to the outcome of the national conference, and the fact that people are calling for the money, a lot, apart from anything, the money that was spent there not to go to waste. There are some very important and key things that came out of that. When you bring together instrumental people, people who are key people in their local communities from the 36 states of the Federation, then something has to come out of it. Very true. Something has to come out of it. So but you know what we talk about continuation in government. That's why we need strong institutions. This must, maybe next time, the National Assembly should have made it a part of the law. They should have passed it as a bill that, so look, the recommendations of this would be enforced. Maybe because it was done in such a hurry. Regardless of any government, because it happened on the PDP government, then we'll see they can vote on it. Very true. Very, very true. Well said. Now, we will be going on a quick break right now. We thank you very much for sticking with us as we went through the trending stories for today in Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, our package for you, throwing back to a very important interview we had with Mrs. Bolatito Idakula, speaking about her experience on what was a very personal situation to her. We hope that you'll be inspired, be motivated, and something will be sparked up in you to give you hope and to make you forge ahead in life. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the show. It is time for our Human Angle Thursdays. And as promised, we always bring you stories that will inspire you and make you see life from a better perspective. Today we're talking about turning your pain into your passion. And we have a woman here who's a wife, a mother. She's a wife to the famous, very famous Bears Idakula. She is Bolatito Bears Idakula, a woman who has been through so much pain herself and has discovered and has decided to use it as a means to help other women who are going through similar things. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our Human Angle Thursday guest for today, Bolatito Bears Idakula.
Hello, Bolatito. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
I know I introduced you first as Bears Idakula's wife. How does it feel to be married to a celebrity? A lot of people say, no, I don't want to marry a celeb. It's a lot of work.
I mean, I don't, to me, it's just my husband. Like, I don't see him as a celebrity. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, oh, he can't do certain things because he's a celebrity. Because he's just my husband. Like, so it's just a normal person. It's nothing exciting.
Yes, we're first friends before you got married.
Exactly, we're friends. We've known each other for years, so it wasn't like something changed.
Okay, you are the founder of a blog, My Lighthouse.
Yes.
And My Lighthouse is a blog that is helping people who are going through pain. You share testimonies of people who have gone through pain as well and come out successful.
Yes.
What brought about the blog, My Lighthouse? What inspired you to start out My Lighthouse?
Okay, so My Lighthouse, as you said already, is the main point of it is to be a source of light. Because, you know, in the world, you go through all kinds of difficult situations, you go through pain, you go through storms, you're challenged a lot of the time. So My Lighthouse was brought about because I went through my own situation, and then I realized that by speaking about it, a lot of people were encouraged. So I thought, let's form a community where other people can be encouraged. In I always forget the year now, 2015, I gave birth to a daughter. I was 42 weeks pregnant, full-on pregnancy. And then a few hours or a day after she was born, she passed away. And that was probably one of the most difficult things that anybody can, no matter how much I say it's difficult, the word doesn't describe the pain that you go through. And working through that, working through healing, working through getting back to life, working through seeing people and them asking about a child that is no longer there. It was a process for me, it was a journey. And the more I dealt with it, the more I kind of just spoke about it and the more I wrote about it. So when I decided to just share, I just felt led to write my testimony of healing through this process. And when I wrote it, I just thought, wait, I'm not the only one going through this thing. Why don't you make a blog so that other people can be encouraged and then other people can share their own stories as well. So if you know that, oh, Bolatito went through the same thing, then you know that you're not alone and you can find encouragement from Bolatito. Or if you know that somebody else went through abuse or depression or whatever, then you know that you're not alone and then you can also find hope and courage and healing, basically.
What kept you strong throughout this period, and did writing in any way help ease the pain?
I think, honestly, and I always say this, My Lighthouse is very faith-based. Honestly, the only thing I'll always say that kept me strong was the love of God. I'm a Christian, and for me, it was just knowing that God had me covered. Because when you go through things like this, it's the same God you question. You question God, like, I love you, I try, so why would you let this happen to me? So for me, it was still the same God I had to run back to say, you know what, you're the only one that can help me through this, so help me through this. So even when I wrote the blog, the testimony, it was about seeing God's love through this pain and knowing that regardless of what happened, it was still God that helped me and kept me strong. So people say, oh, Bolatito, you're so strong, you're so strong. I'm like, actually, no, I don't even know how I do it. It's God's grace, you know. It's one that gives me strength.
It's from the women you've spoken to. How would you speak to a woman who is blaming herself for what happened to her?
Oh, definitely. The blame thing is I'll be surprised if you don't blame yourself, because people would even ask you, oh, were you drinking? Oh, and you're telling them, no, the doctor said I didn't do anything wrong. That just happens. They can't explain it. But you still question yourself. You still be like, oh, but somebody else could keep her own pregnancy. Why couldn't I do it? Like, what did I do wrong? So no matter how much people try to tell you that you didn't do anything wrong, it's until you yourself believe it. If not, you can go for years and you still keep thinking you did something wrong. So God had to start telling me, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And I had to just accept that it wasn't my fault and just leave it at that. No question. I didn't go back to the hospital in Nigeria that I was going to before I traveled. I didn't even go back to say, this is what happened. It was people blame the hospital. You know, everybody wants to blame someone. Yeah, exactly. It has to be their fault. But I just kind of just decided that, you know what, there's nothing I could have changed. There's nothing I could have done. I'm just going to let it go. And I think that's what I want to say to a lot of women. Like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Like, I know people that were drinking for the first 3 months of their pregnancy. Not like I'm encouraging it, but their babies are doing perfectly well. So if it was about something you did, trust me, it will take a lot.
Yeah. Okay, now there are certain people who do not know how to deal with loss. And what do I mean when I say this? You know a friend who has lost a baby, you don't know what to say. Now, some people can come across and say certain things that will hurt you. As someone who has come out from this, what are the things that people should know not to say to a woman who has just lost a baby?
Another one will come. Another one will come is the most, drives me mental. People kept saying, they'll come and say, another one will come. And I'm like, yes, but guess what? This one, I had it. And I pictured her life like it was a girl. So you pictured her turning 1, all of that. You're telling me another one will come. I have a son now, which is amazing. And it makes it less painful, but he's not her. So you telling me another one will come as a way to help me I don't think it's the right thing to say. It doesn't take away the pain. Also, stop asking them, oh, maybe you did not eat right. Maybe you did not exercise. Maybe don't ask any questions. If you don't have anything to say,
it's better.
Give a
Silence
hug.
is golden.
If they like hugs, give them. Do you understand? Silence is golden. Just be present. Let them talk if they want to talk. Don't ask them a million questions. Like sometimes I just sometimes don't want to talk. I remember for the first 2-3 weeks, I didn't pick up my phone. I didn't talk to anyone. My husband was the one like communicating with the family. I was the one that told them they will call me. I won't pick up. And he told them, don't talk to her. She doesn't want to talk right now. And when I'm ready to talk, I'll talk. So just give them space and just respect what they have to, what they're dealing with. So give them space. Don't say another one will come. Don't ask them questions about how they handled the last pregnancy. Just respect them and just let them lead how they want to heal. I think that's what, basically.
All right, now let's look at looking forward. Now, another challenge that some women face is fear. So after you've gone through that, your pregnancy, you're afraid. The fear is tangible because you know you've been through this. You're not sure if you are fit to be a mother or if it would happen again. Some people are afraid to try again. Some people, when the pregnancy comes, they're almost psychotic when it comes to that. Thank God you have a son now. So you've gone through it the second time. How did you deal with that fear if you had it?
Yeah, because I was going to say, speaking of fear, so my baby passed away in March, my daughter, and then in, when did I find out I was pregnant? I think July, August, I found out I was pregnant again. But I had a miscarriage in October. Yeah, September, October, I had a miscarriage. So when you talk about fear, I know fear because I was petrified. Like, what? I'm pregnant again. So every time I go to the bathroom, oh, this is, you know, what's going to go wrong? And of course, one day I went to the bathroom, I had been bleeding. And it was like, oh my God, it happened again. So I had that miscarriage. And then I got pregnant again by the grace of God. And that was a battle. It was a battle because, you know, you're saying you're not afraid, but every time you're just thinking, what if something went wrong? So I had to fight. I literally had to fight. And I would just always declare God's word. I always just say, so I brought out my Bible. Everything God said about children, I would declare, I would say it over, like the pregnancy over and over again. Every time thoughts came to my mind, I had to change it with something positive. I had to like just keep saying, no, this child is my child. This one is staying. Like every time until I gave birth, I literally had to always constantly reassure myself, remind myself that everything will be okay. So fear is very real. But what I've realized is that fear battles faith. And so if you're too afraid, that means you don't have faith that this child will come or this child will stay. So our job is to make sure that the faith overcomes the fear. So if you're holding on to God's word and God's promises, then you can actually suppress the fear. Because the way you lose a lot of things is actually just by being afraid. If you're afraid that you lose something, then it's easy for them to take it away from you. True. But when you know it's yours, then nobody can come and try to take away what belongs to you. So if you know it's yours, then there's no way fear can take away that thing from you.
Wonderful.
So now let's talk about now. We have a beautiful story now, and he's a very handsome young man. His name is Joshua. Let's talk about the day you gave birth to Joshua. What went through your mind as you went to the hospital?
Oh my God.
What kind of emotions?
Oh Lord. I was, you know, I have some videos I'll probably never show anyone. when I realized, and I shared this testimony as well, the testimony of having Joshua, you know, the process to finally having a healthy, alive
very
baby.
Gorgeous,
very
charming,
gorgeous. If I say to myself, cute, amazing, everything. So I shared this testimony, and you know, I thought I was going to travel because for my daughter I traveled, and of course, you know, this one I have to go. But somehow I just felt led by God not to go anywhere. So I was going to my uncle's hospital somewhere, right? And so when I found out that I was in labor, I immediately went to the hospital. Well, guess what? Now I thought he said, oh, you know, I'm going to have a supernatural childbirth. It's just going to come like that. No. I was in labor for hours, nothing happened, and then I had to have a cesarean section, which is
Did you accept to have a cesarean section?
At the point,
because there are many women who are usually always no faith.
Yeah, I was fighting it. I was like, I know now that was not the plan. I meant to just have this child, you know,
like the Hebrew woman.
Like the Hebrew woman, just before this baby. And there was a verse I kept holding on to, which is before you hear your child's cry, you go into labor or something like that. So I was like, no, of course, I'm not going to have a cesarean section. My uncle was trying to convince me, but my labor was not progressing. Luckily, God had told me to go to this uncle, because after a while, I said, Bolatito, do you want the devil to win again? You better, let's go and do this CS, because this labor is not progressing. I went in, and you know, I just realized that there's nothing wrong with CS. So. Not like I'm saying everybody, but there was nothing wrong with it. Between 20 minutes, I was done. I was
as
out,
long as the baby and the mother are fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. So at the end of the day, I had my baby. He's gorgeous. And I was just like, it didn't even matter how he came. All I knew was that the moment I burst into tears when I was packing to go home, and I realized, oh my God, I'm going back with my child. Because I'd been back home without my child before, so it was just like surreal. So I remember I'll be packing and then I'll start laughing and then I'll start crying. And I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I'm going back with my child. And you know, that was the most overwhelming feeling.
I'm sure it's the joy of your life.
Now, there are many unusual stigma topics or taboo topics in Nigeria. We have things like loss of a child, miscarriage, you never talk about it. And there are women and men, because you rightly mentioned men who are suffering in silence. How can we challenge this stigma, challenge these taboo topics, and get more women talking, more men expressing themselves emotionally? And you know, what message do you have? Because people still think, don't talk about it. Even the fact that I don't know if your family members have reservations. How are you talking about it?
In fact, how did they react knowing that you're starting to talk about it?
I think a lot of them are just quiet. You know, they're just giving you side eye, just watching you side eye. Like, okay, if you want to talk.
All these millennials.
Do you understand? Like social media children. Yes, I think you people talk too much. And my mom was even saying to me that, why are you talking about it? That child was not yours. Like, she was just, you know, she has gone. Forget it. I'm like, no, she was my child. So I feel like the more we talk, the more you see somebody like me, not because I'm a celebrity, I'm just saying, the more you see a person talk about something, the more comfortable you are talking. So if we create more avenues. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, even for men, like, don't make it seem like it's just your wife. I have men that actually email me when I have a man that has just been trying to have a baby with his wife for so long, and we're always going back and forth, and I just realized that even men need encouragement. So make yourself available. Let them know that, you know, if you want to talk, it's okay. I'm not judging.
Now you mentioned that the man emailed you. How can people reach you, those who want to talk to you about this?
So you can go on the blog, mylighthouse.com.ng, www.mylighthouse.com.ng. You can email me, tito@mylighthouse.com.ng, and I'll reply. Something we're really trying to focus on now is counseling, because still, no matter how much you say, oh, it's okay, and don't be ashamed, people still want to hide. So if you want to talk one-on-one and you just need encouragement, that's something I offer to people.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for turning your pain into your purpose. And we hope that would inspire someone out there that whatever you've been through is not necessarily for yourself alone. It is so that you can share for other people to be encouraged and know that they are not alone as well. Thank you for joining us,
Thank
Tito.
you, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Your story has been really powerful.
And so are you. Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. That was a very interesting,
amazing interview there.
Inspiring. You know, I like we're talking about how Bolatito is such a bubble of sunshine, a burst of energy, and a breath of fresh air.
Very, very.
So that was poetic. Burst of sunshine.
No, you said bubble of sunshine.
How I said it.
Yeah, the first time is always the best.
Yeah.
Should I just let it go?
Watch the video, rewind the video and watch it again.
I know, right?
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from her. You can see strength. And one of the things I picked up from it is what people say to people who have just had a loss. I think I shared with her on that day about a friend of mine who also went through a loss of 2 children actually back to back. And people would just be like, just brace up yourself. Why are you still crying? What is wrong with you?
You know,
sometimes it's okay not to be strong. It's okay to be...
Allow people to grieve.
And silence is golden.
And when you don't want to take your medicine, when you're feeling ill, sometimes it's good to allow the person just be themselves, just be good.
Yeah. No, that one is not part of it.
Thank you so much, Benga. You know why I was saying this? Because
no,
there's a certain
not at the same time. At least allow them to take it. I'm shouting on the person.
Benga, let's open our dirty linen in public.
We're about to wrap up the show. If it's your birthday today,
we're about to wrap up the show.
Today in history, happy birthday to all those who are celebrating. Just to let you know, today on the 22nd of June, 1962, the first test flight of a hovercraft. That's right. A hovercraft, also known as an air cushion vehicle or ACV, is a craft capable of traveling over water. Fantastic. The first practical design for hovercraft was derived from a British invention in the 1950s. Testing quickly demonstrated that the idea of using a single engine to provide air for both the lift curtain can also achieve a forward flight for both. So happy birthday to hovercraft around the world.
And we also want to use this opportunity because we spoke about women building the next generation of scientists on Monday. We're hoping that we'll get to see new inventions from Nigerians. We'll get to see young Nigerians bringing up new inventions. And more importantly, I want to appeal to people, when you're sick, do not frustrate your friends by not taking your drugs. Make sure you take
happy
your drugs.
Happy birthday to my auntie, Mrs. Osheranu Akinlade. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Auntie Rasha. I love you, love you, love you.
Yes, we love you, Auntie.
Happy birthday.
So as I was saying, when you fall sick,
guys, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Excuse me, can I wrap up the show?
Since you're not
I am wrapping up the show.
Wrap up the
if you fall sick, ensure you do not frustrate your friends. Take your drugs. Eat. Do not let them beg you to eat. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you again tomorrow. We'll be bringing you the interview we did with Paul Playdairo. He couldn't make it last week, but we're able to record something. I'm playing it for you tomorrow. Follow Ayo on Twitter at AyoThompson7 and on Instagram at Ayo Thompson. You can follow Benga at Captain Sankara. Yours truly at Olive Emodi. We will see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic Thursday.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.